Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our series on Google Forms. This training is designed to give educators an in-depth look to the many types of items they can include in Google Forms. If you haven't watched the introductory video to this series, we recommend you do so before watching this video. Link to the introductory video is in the description. By the end of this training, you should be able to differentiate between the item and question types on Google Forms and be able to effectively create your own questions of various types. Before we start adding things, it will be helpful to go over the icons and settings available to you when building a form. On the right of your form, you will see a toolbar with various symbols. Each of these adds an item to your form. The plus icon will add a question to your form. If you don't like the positioning of your question, you may click and drag it at the 6-dotted symbol at the top of the item. The T icon will add a title and description box, which is useful when sectioning off parts of the form. The picture icon will allow you to add an image to your form. The play button icon will allow you to add video to your form. Finally, the double bar icon allows you to add a section. As we go in depth with each of these options, we encourage you to pause the video and try these out on your own form. Remember, you can always use the preview button, the eyeball icon at the top of the screen, to see what the live version of your form looks like at any time.
When you choose to add an image to your form, you have many ways to choose the source. You can upload your own by dragging and dropping the image from your PC in the Upload tab. If your device has Adobe Flash Player 10.1, you can take a snapshot of your screen. If you stumble upon the image you want somewhere online, most browsers have an option when you right-click an image to specifically copy the URL. If you do this, you can paste the URL into the By URL tab. You may also choose items from your albums if you are a Google Plus user, or via your Google Drive if it is stored there. Or finally, you may use the built-in search feature in the Search tab. This option is strongly recommended because it only yields results that are allowed for commercial use with modification. Therefore, almost anything found here should be safe under fair use, as long as it is used for educational purposes. We will continue our theme with The Wizard of Oz by searching and adding an image of a poster from the original movie adaptation. Now let's say I just wanted this image and form description as a landing page to set the tone of the form. I could do that by splitting this form into sections. Sections can and should be used for many reasons. The primary reason is loading time, especially if you are including large media items such as videos or pictures. Having it load on separate pages or sections reduces the chances of the connection timing out or something not loading due to poor internet connectivity. For educators specifically, it is useful to separate out forms into sections to make the assessment seem less intimidating to the students. If they see a form with 30 problems all on one single page, they might become discouraged. But in chunks of 4 to 5 problems, or even one problem per section, it is much more reasonable. It can also help your form become more aesthetically pleasing, and separate it into items by relevance. Say I wanted to ask a few questions over the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I could make a new section by clicking the New Section button, label it, and then upload the video. I could include all questions relevant to this video in this section. Now that we've made this section, let's add the video I was just discussing. When you click the Add Video button, you can either search via YouTube or paste a URL. Again, the search feature is recommended to help you attempt to stay within the legal boundaries of fair use. We will select this HD version. Click the title to label it, and we can use the drop-down menu, the triple dots on the item window at the top right, to add a caption. Let's add 1939 Judy Garland to give further context. Now that we have our video, let's ask a few questions about it. If you click the Add Question button, a blank template will appear. Before we figure out what the question is and what format it will be, let's go over the options on the question window itself. The Copy button, represented by 2 little pages, will copy an item as it is, useful when you are asking similar question types and don't want to rewrite the whole prompt each time. The Delete option, the trash can icon, will delete that question. The required toggle, when on, will not allow the person answering the questions to progress to the next section or submit until that question is answered. This feature is useful to help students avoid skipping questions, either accidentally or on purpose. The triple dotted drop-down menu will give additional options based on the question type. The six-dotted icon at the top of the question allows you to drag and drop the item to a different section or place within the form. The final drop-down menu at the upper right allows you to choose the type of question from the list shown. We will go over each question type in this video. Short answer is designed for one or two word or numerical answers. In the additional options, you can have the form navigate to another section based on the answer. This is a feature on most questions, and we will discuss further applications of this for educators later in this series. You may also choose to have response validation, which is also a feature on many of the question types. With this, you can have the form force the response to fit within the guidelines to prevent users from entering something other than what you want. Numbers can be limited to specific subsets such as greater than 0 or between 1 and 10, or just simply make sure that an actual number is entered. Text can make sure their answer contains or does not contain a specific word. Text can also be used to force the response to be an email or a URL. Length can be used to force a minimum or maximum character count. And regular expression can be used to look for a specific formatting or phrases based on rules or syntax that you set. For example, you could set it up to recognize a phone number in a valid format. Rules on how to set this up can be found at the link in the description. For this example, we will ask the question about the name of this singer. Paragraph should be used for any answer that is a sentence or longer. The options here include validation for length and specific syntax and phrases. An appropriate choice here would be to ask for the theme of this song. Multiple choice questions allow you to add any number of choices, so this could be useful for true or false and traditional multiple choice problems. Notably, the Add Other option allows you to make a blank where the user may enter their own answer. Multiple choice allows you to shuffle the option order. So if giving this to students, each student will have the answer choices randomized, which discourages cheating on assessments. Here we will ask, when in the story this song takes place? You may notice as we are typing the choices, the Add Image icon appears within the text box. This is because for both the question box and the answer choices, you may choose to add an image instead of an answer choice for that question. Some examples of where this may be useful is for math teachers uploading equations, science teachers asking to identify or label parts of a cell, or history teachers asking students to identify a historical figure or a location. The checkbox function is almost identical to multiple choice, but it allows users to select more than one answer. For this example, we've asked which characters' actors are not listed on the poster, but the problem is I've added this to the wrong section. So we're going to show exactly how to move this question type to a new section. So you click on the 6 dots at the top of the question, and you drag it into the section that you would like in place. There. Now it's much better and into the correct spot with the poster. Dropdown is just another variation on multiple choice, but can be used for a more aesthetically pleasing way of showing the choices. It's good if you have many choices or intend to use the same question a few times. So let's expand section 1 a bit by making a modification of that question. I'm going to select Copy Item. I'm going to change the item type to drop down. And then I'm going to ask a variant on the question. My question now is, which character was portrayed by Judy Garland? Now I have a different question, and when the user takes the quiz, they won't have the whole list cluttering the screen. File upload is a unique item type, as it allows you to collect files from the user. You can alter the number of allowed files, file type, and limit file size. Here I could ask the user to edit the poster to include credits for the missing characters from the first question, and limit it to just image files. Linear scale is good for data gathering. It is best for the types of questions like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate this poster? You can change the range and even add label options to the two ends of the scale, like 1 being, I hate this, to 5 being, I love this. Multiple choice grid is best used for definition matching and similar items. Column options cannot be shuffled, but row options can. If a specific order is required, leave those options to columns. Here we will have the users match the character to which order we met them within Oz. Note that even though I type the row choices in an order matching the column choices, I will hit the shuffle rows so that the rows are randomized. I will also check the limit one response per column so there isn't any duplicates chosen by accident. Note that with this question type, you may type as much as you wish, but try to keep rows short and simple, and try to limit it to 7 columns or less. All columns and rows will show and be available, but sometimes will require scrolling within a line or a window, and controlling or seeing that can be difficult for students on mobile devices and Chromebooks. Checkbox grid is much the same as multiple choice grid, but multiple answers can be selected per row. Best for classification style questions where more than one choice may be available. For example, if I wanted to classify the characters and or their actions, I could copy my last example. Alter to say, select all that apply to each character. Edit my columns. And finally, make sure that my options allow for more than one choice per column. Date and time features are used to gather data. Not as useful for assessments, but good for general data gathering or scheduling. I will add these to a final section on the form since they don't quite fit the theme. Date allows you to select a calendar date, and you can add a time as well. This is good for scheduling, like scheduling office hours through forms rather than a sign-up sheet. Time can have the user enter a specific time, like when did you complete this form, or a duration, like how long did it take you to complete this form. This concludes part 2 of our series on Google Forms. Additional resources are included in the links below the video. If you want to test, feel free to take our brief quiz over item and question types on Google Forms using our form included below. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to ask questions and share your ideas in the comments section. We hope you use this new knowledge to bring creative and high-quality assessments to your students.